The boy placed a steel nail in the middle of the road, hoping that passing vehicles would run over it. A man had just told him that if a car got a flat tire, they could offer help and the driver would likely give them a ride. Soon, a car sped by, and with a loud bang, its tire hit the nail. Unexpectedly, the car didn't behave as expected. After swerving back and forth a few times, it plunged into a deep ditch on the side of the road. To avoid getting beaten up, the two ran faster than rabbits. Once they stopped, they began to reflect. Since moving cars are hard to control, we should target stationary ones. Disabling this tire isn't too hard. Go find me a nail. As the man kept looking for the right angle, the boy suddenly stopped. It turned out the car's owner had returned, making the situation quite awkward. Fortunately, the owner was kind-hearted. Not only did he not mind, but he also offered them a ride. As for why they were trying to stop cars on the road, the story begins a few days ago. On that day, Masao took 2,000 yen to go out of town to find his mother. Unexpectedly, he was stopped by some thugs on the street, and all his money was taken. Just as they were asking if he had more, the voice of a neighbor aunt came over. The aunt not only scolded the thugs, but also got Masao's money back. Unexpectedly, her husband wanted to keep the money for himself. When he couldn't take Masao's money, he turned his attention to the thugs. The aunt took Jingnan to her bar and asked him what had happened. It turned out that Jingnan's father had died in a car accident a long time ago. Not long after, his mother left for work and never returned. Jingnan was left to live with his grandmother. Recently, during the summer vacation, all his friends went to the beach with their parents, but Jingnan had to stay home alone. Seeing other children with their parents made him very envious. So, he decided to take this summer vacation to find his mother, whom he hadn't seen in years. After learning about the situation, the kind-hearted aunt, considering the long and dangerous journey, decided to have her idle husband accompany him. After the two left, the aunt went to the grandmother's pastry shop. She said her husband took Masao to the beach for a few days. However, Takashi Kitano was quite unreliable. He took the money and went to the bicycle racetrack. After losing money, he blamed others for his loss and scolded a stranger nearby. In less than half a day, he lost all the 50,000 yen travel expenses. At this moment, he turned his attention to Masao again. Don't you still have 2,000? Take it out. To change his luck, Kitano asked Masao to randomly say two numbers. Unexpectedly, Masao hit the jackpot with those 2,000 yen. Kitano was as happy as a child, thinking he had discovered a prodigy. He even got Masao a new outfit. But soon, their luck turned bad. No matter what numbers Masao picked, they didn't match, and they quickly lost most of the money again. During dinner, Kitano forced Masao to stand at the door and not eat. After Kitano finished eating, he realized Masao was missing. It turned out that a perverted old man had taken Masao away. When Kitano arrived, the pervert was pulling at Masao's clothes. Furious, Kitano beat the man up and took his wallet. Finally, they had money for the bus. Perhaps feeling guilty towards Masao, Kitano decides to take him to find his mother. On the way, the taxi driver stops for a bathroom break. Kitano glances at the meter and is shocked by the fare, thinking it's daylight robbery. So, he makes a bold decision. While the driver is still away, he jumps into the driver's seat and shakily drives off. The taxi driver was left bewildered. Due to their poor driving skills, the engine started smoking not long after they set off. They spent the night in the broken-down car. At dawn, they decided to continue on foot. Soon, they arrived at a place. Takashi Kitano went to the front desk and demanded a room. Seeing his unreasonable behavior, the receptionist reluctantly agreed. Meanwhile, the hungry Masao started eating. After putting on the new clothes, they hung the old ones directly on the hanger, not forgetting to put the price tags on their old clothes. Then the two went to the poolside and watched Masao swimming in the pool. Kitano put on a life ring, but within 3 seconds of getting into the water, he was already floating face down. After being rescued, he felt very embarrassed. Back in the room, he started practicing at the table. The next day, they started causing trouble again at the hotel. It was not allowed to go up there. When it's time to pay, Takashi Kitano insisted that the receptionist give him a discount, otherwise it would be like robbery. While talking, he went to pat a little boy's head, thinking it was Masao, and told him to leave quickly. Unexpectedly, it was someone else's child who almost got hit. The receptionist felt sorry for them and not only gave them a discount on the hotel fee, but also drove them to a station where many cars were resting. If they were lucky, they could hitch a ride. Seeing a driver get off a truck, Takashi Kitano approached and firmly demanded a ride. The truck driver, annoyed by his constant swearing, not only refused but also scolded him. Filled with anger, Takashi Kitano picked up a stone from the ground, but then cowardly put it down. It seems the previous ordeal wasn't enough. Takashi Kitano put makeup on Masao. Then he knocked on the door of a couple having an affair. The man was reluctant, but the woman felt sorry for him and agreed to give him a ride. Unexpectedly, Takashi Kitano's voice came from the side. Hey! Just as they were about to leave, Kitano Takashi remembered the driver from earlier. With a loud crash, he smashed the truck's window and quickly got into the couple's car. During the break, the young lady performed acrobatics for him, and the young man showed off his robot dance. However, happy times are always short-lived. When it was time to part, the couple gave Zhengnan a small backpack with angel wings. Zhengnan happily ran around them. As the camera gradually pulled away, four prominent characters stood outside the lawn. No entry. Finally, the couple left them at a bus stop. Soon, Takashi Kitano also learned the girls' acrobatics. While waiting, a man arrived to catch the bus. Seizing the moment when the man went to the restroom, Takashi Kitano quickly swapped his 3 rice balls with 3 oranges. After the man left on the bus, Takashi generously gave 2 oranges to the boy and quietly sneaked away with 1 for himself. Unexpectedly, the rice ball fell into the sewer. He intended to retrieve it but accidentally fell in himself. They spent the night at the station. The next day, Masao tried to hitchhike, but even with a painted face, it didn't work. Takashi had to step in, pretending to be a blind man, but he got hit by a car, and the driver just drove away. After another tough night, they decided to walk. Not far along, Takashi had an idea. He sharpened a found nail and had Masao place it in the middle of the road. If a car ran over it, they would offer help, and the driver would likely give them a ride. This led to the scene at the beginning. Unexpectedly, the car went straight into the ditch. They planned to target the parked car, but then met a kind man. Not only did he not blame them, but he also drove them directly to their destination. Finally arriving at the destination, Masao hesitated to approach. He asked Takashi Kitano to go ahead and check. When Kitano reached the door, he noticed something was wrong. Masao's mother is named Riko Sugiyama, but the nameplate at the door read Yoshimura. Could it be the wrong address? While Kitano was puzzled, Masao's mother came out of the house, followed by a man and a little girl. It's clear that his mother remarried. Feeling dejected, Masao turned and left, unable to hold back his tears. Kitano quickly went to comfort him, saying, "Let's go. We must have the wrong place. The address is the same, but the person is different. Come on, let's go." Kitano took Masao to the seaside. Masao was still downcast, his head hanging low. Kitano said, "Your mother must have moved. I'll ask around to find out where she went." On the way, he saw a motorcycle with a bell hanging on it. Just then, the owner came out of the restroom. When he learned that it was an angel's bell, a symbol of good luck, Kitano's rogue nature emerged. He demanded the angel's bell, but the owner refused. Kitano threatened, "If you don't give it to me, I'll dismantle your engine." The frightened owner reluctantly agreed. Thus, the angel's bell was obtained. Seeing Masao's lonely figure, Kitano approached and said, "Your mother did move away, but she left you this angel's bell. Whenever you're unhappy or in trouble, just ring this bell, and an angel will come to help you." Yumnam shook it several times, but nothing appeared in the sky. Masao lowered his head in sadness, once again. With no other options left, Kitano decided to take Masao home. He hadn't walked far when Masao quickly caught up and took Kitano's hand. Perhaps after spending so many days together, he had already come to rely on him. The two walked hand in hand along the seaside, resembling a real father and son. To make Masao happy, they went to a festival at night. When shooting toys with a gun, Kitano felt the cork bullets were weak, so he replaced them with stones. He ended up knocking down the decorations. The owner didn't want to give it to him, so Kitano forced him to buy it. The owner, seeing he couldn't afford to offend him, reluctantly agreed. The two went to catch goldfish, but the net was too small to catch any. Kitano Takashi used a big bowl instead, which angered the owner. The owner called the festival management. At first, Kitano was very defiant, saying, "If you dare touch a hair on my head, you'll regret it." But he ended up getting beaten badly. Admitting defeat, he played the sympathy card, saying, "I have a child. Please don't hit me." Using his child as an excuse, what a scumbag. He was then beaten to the ground. It wasn't until the middle of the night that the unconscious Kitano was found by Masao. Kitano, with a face full of injuries, claimed he accidentally fell down the stairs. Masao didn't say anything but instead went to a pharmacy and brought back some medicine. He then began to clean Kitano's wounds. Kitano felt deeply ashamed that an adult like him needed to be taken care of by a child. The next day, after a quick wash in the fields, each of them had a green leaf on their head as they walked. When they passed a cornfield, Kitano decided to grab some corn to eat. Just as he was getting into it, he turned around and saw someone. It was the kind man who had helped them earlier. To get some money for fuel, they set up a stall with the stolen corn. 200 for one, 500 for two. I wonder how many people would buy two at once. To cheer up Masao, good-hearted brother suggested going camping for a few days. While Masao was fishing, the motorcycle brothers showed up. They said there were no fish in the water, so Kitano told them to pretend to be fish. Not only did they have to act like big carp in the water, but they also had to play octopuses. Their appearance was indeed quite unique. While everyone was resting, Kitano Takashi got on a motorcycle and left. They arrived at a nursing home where Kitano Takashi only glanced at his mother from a distance before turning away. From his conversation with the staff, it was clear that this wasn't his first time doing this. It turns out that, like Masao, he was abandoned by his mother as a child. Whenever he sees Masao, it's as if he sees his younger self. Maybe it was to cheer up Jingnan, or perhaps to heal their inner child. They played together at the campsite, dancing like Native Americans during the day and telling alien stories at night. They played the watermelon smashing game with sticks and then played the red light, green light game. They placed their clothes on the ground, and each time they won, they could put on a piece of clothing. Unexpectedly, the simple-minded bald guy ended up completely naked. After spending a few days together, Masao's mood improved as the summer vacation quickly came to an end. After saying goodbye to the two motorcyclists, the kind man drove them home. The time to part ways had finally arrived. Takashi Kitano said he would take Masao to see his mother next time. After a brief hug, they went their separate ways. At this moment, many people suddenly realized that the man is actually Kikujiro. Kikujiro Summer is a Japanese comedy film directed by Takashi Kitano, released in 1999. It's a film about childhood, about growing up, and about summer. It is also a rare classic in the history of world cinema.